Josh Tin is an adventurous 16-year-old whose family recently relocated to a small village on the edge of Scotland's ancient Cairngorm forest. While exploring local forums about his new home, Josh stumbled upon a pattern of posts spanning decades, all describing hikers and campers who ventured into a specific section of the woods, never to return. The following is read from his journal, recounting his meticulous search for the truth and his unwavering thirst for adventure, and his love for hand-knitted jumpers. Who knows where this will lead him in the future? I shouldn't be writing this. My hands are still shaking so badly I can barely hold the pen, and I keep looking over my shoulder at my bedroom window. The branches of the old pine outside keep scratching against the glass, and each time I swear they're trying to spell something. But I need to get this down while it's fresh, while I can still convince myself I'm not going mad. I found them today, just before sunset. The runes. Jeez, the runes. I'd been following another dead end from those newspaper clippings. You know, the ones about Martin Fletcher's disappearance in '87. The article mentioned he'd last been seen heading toward the Stone Circle clearing, but no one in town seemed to know what that meant. 3 hours of trudging through wet leaves and mud, and I was ready to call it quits. That's when my phone died. Not just died, it went crazy first. The screen started flickering, showing strings of numbers that didn't make sense. 333, 333, 333, over and over, even though it was nearly 5 p.m. Then, nothing. I turned back, or I thought I did, but the trees, they all looked wrong, older. The moss grew in patterns I'd never seen before, spiralling up the trunks in perfect geometrical shapes. That's when I saw the first stone. It was small, maybe the size of my palm, half buried in the earth. The marking on it looked like a sideways figure eight with a line through it. Simple, really. Except it was glowing. Not reflecting light, actually glowing. With this soft, blue-green luminescence that seemed to pulse in time with my heartbeat. I found 6 more after that, each with different symbols, forming a rough circle about 20 feet across. The last one was warm to touch, and when my fingers brushed against it, I heard something. Not with my ears, but inside my head. A voice, ancient and cold as the earth itself, speaking words I couldn't understand but somehow knew were important. I took photos, or I tried to. Every time I pull up my camera roll, the images are just black squares with weird pixelated edges. But I made sketches as soon as I got home. They're on the next page. Though, looking at them now, they don't seem quite right. The symbols keep shifting when I'm not focusing directly on them. Mum asked why I was late for dinner. I told her I lost track of time at the library. She smiled and said she was glad I was taking an interest in local history. If only she knew. The weirdest part, when I was leaving the clearing, I swear I saw fresh footprints in the mud, leading away from the stones. They looked old-fashioned, like someone wearing boots from another century. And they started in the middle of the circle, as if whoever made them had just appeared there. It's almost midnight now. The runes in my sketchbook, are they getting brighter? I need to go back tomorrow. I know I shouldn't, but I need to. Something's happening in those woods. Something big. And I think it's been waiting for someone to find those stones. For someone to find me. Josh. Can't sleep. Keep seeing those symbols when I close my eyes, but I think I'm starting to piece something together, so I need to write it down before I lose it. After I found the runes yesterday, I spent hours online looking up Celtic symbols. Nothing matched exactly, but I found something interesting. A thread on an old archaeology forum about similar markings found in caves near Cairngorm, just 30 miles from here. The post was from 2012, but the weird thing, when I tried to reply to it, the whole thread vanished, just gone, like it never existed. So I started digging deeper into the local disappearances. 1987, Martin Fletcher, mentioned earlier, disappeared October 21st. 1995, Sarah McPherson, disappeared October 22nd. 2003, David and Jenny Hughes, disappeared October 20th. 2011, Callum Robertson, disappeared October 23rd. 2019, Maya Chen, disappeared October 21st. See the pattern? They all vanish within days of each other, just different years. And get this, I checked the lunar calendar. Every single disappearance happened during the third quarter moon, just like now. But here's what really got me. In my dad's study, I found this old book he bought at an estate sale. Highland Myths and Legends of the Northeast. There's a chapter about something called the Fadeways, places where the boundary between our world and something else gets thin. The book mentions markers, ancient stones that breathe with their own light during certain lunar phases. The author, Duncan MacLeod, wrote about interviewing an old woman in 1962 who claimed her grandmother knew of 7 stones that formed a door between times. She said they only woke up every 8 years, and when they did, people would go missing. But here's the creepy part. She says sometimes people would come back, years later, not aged a day. I checked the dates again. 8 years between each disappearance, almost exactly. Which means, God, the next window would be this year, this month, this week. I've mapped out all the locations where people were last seen. If I overlay them where I found the runes, they form a pattern. Like a 7-pointed star, but there's something wrong with the map now. The distances don't add up. Places that should be miles apart seem to be shifting closer together. I need to go back to those stones, but I need to be smart about this. I've packed my backpack with supplies, Dad's old compass, phones aren't reliable out there, a proper camera with fresh batteries, chalk for marking trees. Learned that from those missing persons reports. Granola bars and water, UV flashlight, the symbols seem to react to different light sources. Voice recorder, analog, not digital. The book about Highland myths, an extra warm jumper, and this journal. Tomorrow after school I'm going back, but this time I'm going prepared. I've told Mum I'm studying at the library. She'll expect me home by 6. That gives me 3 hours. 3. That number again. I keep thinking about what that voice in my head said when I touched the rune. It's like when you have a word on the tip of your tongue, but 100 times more frustrating. The meaning is right there, just out of reach. Wait, the branches outside my window just stopped moving. Completely. Even though the wind's still blowing. And there's something else. When I look at my sketches of the runes now, I can see something I missed before. Tiny marks, like smaller symbols inside the bigger ones. They almost look like, oh my God, they're dates. They're the exact dates when everyone went missing. And there's one more date. October 21st, 2024. That's 5 days from now. Josh. P.S. Just heard something tapping on my window. 3 times. Slow. Deliberate. When I looked, there was nothing there. But on the glass, frost, in the shape of one of the runes. Thank you for joining me for the first instalment of Josh Tinn's Adventures. The next episode will be out soon, so be sure to keep a lookout. You wouldn't want to miss out on the adventure. I'm Sam Hain, wishing you all sweet dreams. See you on the next one.